We are now roughly 24 hours away from the release of Halo 3 on PC, a game that some PC players have been waiting for 13 years to play, and a game that many would say is the peak of Halo. Whether you agree with that statement or not, there is no denying the prestige Halo 3 has in gaming history. The question is though, will Halo 3's PC release be able to top the peak player numbers we saw back in December when Halo Reach dropped? When Halo Reach released back in December on PC, Halo was able to see numbers it honestly hasn't seen in years, hitting almost 100k on Steam alone and being a top seller at the time, which isn't too bad for a game that is 10 years old. Sadly though, Halo Reach was not able to hold this population for very long, and the subsequent releases of Halo CE and Halo 2 have gotten nowhere near that original peak, hitting about 35k and 45k players respectively. One could argue the desire to play Halo CE and Halo 2 might not have been as high as something like Reach on PC because Halo CE and 2 had both been released on PC back in the day. However, I would most likely attribute Reach's numbers just to the fact that Reach had the hype of Halo coming to PC behind it. Not just Halo Reach, but Halo as a whole making its return to PC, and that is what pushed it to those amazing numbers. Numbers which then dropped off as people either A, got the nostalgia drip they wanted, B, remembered Halo Reach wasn't that great, or C, got fed up with the shoddy port of Halo Reach. Any of those reasons and more can attribute to the drop in player numbers, and if you're curious to see more of my thoughts on what went wrong with Halo Reach, I did make a video back in the day, so go and check that out. Halo 3, however, is shaping up to be the best port we've gotten so far on PC. Sure, it is not perfect, but it's quite the step up from these previous games. Halo 3 also has the entire hype behind it of it just being Halo 3, and not only that, there are many players who have been waiting 13 years to finally finish the fight. Despite this though, I don't think Halo 3 is going to top that near 100k peak Halo Reach hit on PC on Steam. I would estimate though that it lands somewhere between Halo 2 and Halo Reach, probably in the 50 to 60k peak range. However, what I think is going to be Halo 3's main strength will be player retention. Unlike the other games which have quickly dropped below 10k, I think Halo 3 really could stabilize somewhere in the 20 to 30k range. I personally am extremely excited for this and hope that the game stays lively for some time to hold us over to Infinite on PC. It's been a huge bummer not being able to consistently find ranked matches, and while Halo 3 isn't going to help with the population numbers of those other games, I think it should hold enough players to make finding ranked matches possible for at least a couple months down the line, at least I hope. Now that brings me to my second main point, which is I want to talk about how much of a bummer it is that it's taken this long to get Halo 3. One theory that I have seen is the reason that they went with the chronological release schedule instead of starting with Halo 3 was that it gave them the extra half a year to really polish Halo 3, as 343 knew they had to get this one right. I think this is very possible, as botching the launch of Halo 3 would have hurt their image even more than their current failures in my opinion. While Halo Reach, CE, and 2 all have their own fan bases, Halo 3 for many is their favorite Halo game, and one many players, even players outside of the general Halo landscape, look back upon with good memories. Screwing that one up really would have put a bad taste in players' mouths going into Infinite later this year. In an ideal world, I still think leading with Halo 3 would have been the optimal play to keep the MCC on PC lively. I know some people say this would have led to other games being dead on arrival, but honestly, most of them died out anyways, so all this release schedule really did was give them a couple weeks of life. Besides Reach ranked for the most part, these games were pretty much dead within a month of release, and even Reach only lasted maybe 2 months on the ranked side. Unless you count Invasion, but that's its own weird thing. I think had they led with 3 and then rolled the others out, people still would have checked them out as they rolled them out, and at the very least you'd still be able to find social matches for those other games, because to this day I still find Halo Reach matches in social pretty easily, and that's with both CE and 2 out. Not only that, if you look on the Xbox side, people can still find things like BTB Halo 4 matches, so I think at least on the social side, all of these games would have still had their little niche communities. It would have just been more on the ranked side that maybe those games never got a chance. Like I said though, I'm not sure that really even matters that much, because besides having a couple weeks of life, the ranked playlists in these different games died out pretty quickly. We won't know until tomorrow, or maybe even the weeks following, but this launch of Halo 3 is extremely important for 343. Whether the release revives the collection or lets it sputter out lies solely on the quality of this port, and luckily so far everything is looking good. However, after Halo 2, one must be pretty skeptical to see the actual launch product because the Halo 2 flights looked pretty good, and then on launch it was a total disaster. So not only is the port looking good, we're also finally getting features like Forge on PC, which is an upgraded Forge, the new season of content, which is oddly enough just CE skins, but at least it's the new season of content. This is going to be huge, as the Forge scene is a huge part of Halo longevity and should provide us with tons of content going forward, and having new unlocks to grind for will give some players reasons to play. With the launch of Halo 3, 343 has also redone the rank system a bit, and with that, they are resetting ranks. Honestly, to me, this isn't that big a deal, but for Xbox players, or even PC players that grinded out high ranks before the playlist died, I could see this being a huge bummer. One thing that sucks about this is that say you got a 50 or a high 40 in something like Reach PC, you're never going to be able to get that again. And that's not due to lack of skill. It's just due to the fact that the playlist literally doesn't have players anymore, so those high ranks are quite literally unobtainable. Obviously, it also sucks for people who now have to regrind their 50s, although I've never minded rank resets in games in general, as it usually gives people reasons to get back into ranked. If you look at a game like League of Legends or Overwatch or Apex, every new season when they reset their ranks, usually a lot of people come back to play their placements and play some ranked again, where they may have fallen off later into the season. Now I understand this isn't really the case here, as it is more of just a back-end change than a season reset, but you could kind of look at it the same way. I am confused why 343 didn't do some type of soft reset instead of hard resetting everyone back to 0, but maybe that just didn't work with the new system. I personally think that having ranked seasons in Halo is fun, and it is one of the things that I enjoyed about Halo 5's rank system, but I understand that isn't something everyone is a fan of. Plus, with the MCC in particular, it takes extremely long to actually rank up to a 50, so having ranked seasons constantly reset with the current rank system in MCC would be a slog. Now this could change a bit with their reworking of the rank system, so maybe it won't take as many games to hit 50, but we'll just have to wait and see. With the addition of skins to CE, and I assume eventually the other games, they could also do pretty fun seasonal rewards for hitting different ranks. Regardless, I understand why people are upset about the rank reset, and while it doesn't personally bother me too much, that's probably because I didn't put in the time grinding out those 50s. For those of you who have, I am sorry you are losing all that time. The launch of Halo 3 is also bringing in additional mod support, although it appears to have completely broken existing mods for Reach, CE, and 2. That sucks a ton. But hopefully going forward, the positives of the changes outweigh the negatives of losing all that work from the community. I am really excited to see what types of mods we see for Halo 3, and would still love to see easier ways to play modded maps with your friends online. I really think that 343 needs to implement a setting, so maybe just the leader needs to have the mods installed, and then you could just load into the lobby and the rest of the players can be given the option to download it, or something similar. Kind of like how community browsers work in games like CSGO or other multiplayer games that implement a community browser. You would go onto the browser and click on a server that sounded fun, and then if you don't have the maps or mods downloaded, the game would install them for you as you joined. Nice and simple, and a good way to allow players to experience fun new content. As of right now, playing modded MCC with your friends is a major pain in the ass, and is a big reason I haven't bothered with it at all. Anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap up the video. Do you guys think that Halo 3 will top Halo Reach's numbers? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. If you want to catch me Rec Noobs live, you can follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Arrrash with 3 Rs, where I'm going to be playing a ton of Halo 3 upon release. And if that isn't enough me for you, you can also follow me on Twitter at Arrrash with 4 Rs. With that said, I'll see you all next time.